if you wanted to see a textbook performance, look no further. Thailand, in that semi-final against Malaysia, showed what it takes to be great on the park in the game of Sepaktakraw. There was everything. The spikes, the roll spikes, blocks. The Tekong did a phenomenal job. And which is why they have made their way to the final, setting up a showdown against Vietnam. But now let's head over to the men's Regu event because it's semi-final 1. It's going to be Japan taking on Singapore.
With the women's semi-final all wrapped up, now it's time for the men's semi-final. Which team will rise? Which will crumble under pressure? We'll find out. But for now, let the action begin. Ladies and gentlemen, straight from the land of rising sun, can we hear it for Team Japan?
Japan, winners of their group, and then defeated Chinese Taipei 2-0 in their quarter-final. Wondering which way to go, which court to go on. Nothing like being prepared. Guys, you're on the show court, you're on #1 court, you're on TV. Act like you've been there before. They're in Group A. Defeated Nepal, France, and Ichikawa, Mito and Sasamoto, their starters, Kato and Kobayashi on the bench.
Coming up with some flair acrobatic skills, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Team Singapore.
Singapore, they were in Group C, defeated Brazil and Sri Lanka, as you would expect them to do. In the quarterfinals, 2-1 against USA, that was a tight one for Singapore. Winning their group and then only just squeezing past USA. They pulled away in the third set. They'll be looking to be a lot sharper this time around. Danish Irfan, the Tekong. Zahirman is at the net. Akmal Musharraf will be the setter and feeder. Khairul Shami and Yuri Adli are the ones on the bench.
There's the Japan men's team, guided by Terashima Takeshiki, the coach and a former player. The Japanese women's earlier in the tournament had already gotten a bronze medal in the doubles event. They came agonizingly close to moving into the final. The Japanese men will want to do one better.
Coach Terashima, Takeshi Terashima, he's a former player, was involved in the first ever World Cup 2011, the one that ISTAF held in Kuala Lumpur, and he's back here now, as is Chiharu Yano, the women's coach. As we have a look at the various officials there, there's 7 of them in total now that we've got a challenge referee who's going to be the one holding up the boards. You've got referees, you've got the video referees as well, included in there, as well as the 2 line judges, the one in the chair, the one on the other side of the net, the one with the administrative duties, writing down all the substitutions, making sure they don't take too many timeouts, too many substitutions. You can have 1 timeout per team per set, 2 substitutions per team per set. Best of 3 sets, first to 15 in each of them.
On my left, Singapore players in court.
Worth reminding you of the, doing that little bit of housekeeping and reminding you of the rules. because they do tend to change quite often in Sepaktakraw. Used to have groups of 3 in the service. So here, for example, you would be expecting Sasamoto to serve 3 in a row, but now we alternate after each point.
A very good start there by Japan.
He's tall, look at him. There's real height on his service, and he buries that one under the foot of his opposite number, Danish Irfan. Different type of service motion there.
Japan get 2 points to begin, and it's interesting that they've got Sasamoto Masaki starting, because in the couple of matches that I had seen of Japan earlier, he was on the substitute bench and then they brought him on. So he's starting here as a tekong right away.
Singapore.
First points for Singapore. Look at that, Sasamoto. I think he was just trying to get his head out of the way.
There's a lot of him to aim at. Incredibly tall fella.
Singapore.
This again shows what Danish Irfan is capable of. Even in the quarterfinal, we saw him against the United States changing the pace, sometimes firing it in. Ichikawa getting that block in, winning that point. I can see this turning out to be a very good, even and engaging contest.
2-3.
Coach Terashima.
Point Japan.
It's great to have both Terashima Takeshi and Yano Chiharu, men's and women's coaches, former internationals, both of them here. Great that they are passing on their knowledge to younger players. There's a very good university system in Japan where a lot of Sepaktakraw is played. It's become an official university sport there. And that's why we're seeing the men in particular doing so well. The women did incredibly well in the quadrants. Under Chiharu Yano's guidance.
Point Singapore. It's over. Ready.
Men's Regu is interesting. We've got 7 different categories here at the ISTAF Sepaktakraw World Cup 2025. Men's and women's Regu, men's and women's doubles, men's, women's and mixed quadrants. India, as the host nation, allowed to enter every category, which is always the case at events like these and at the Asian Games, the SEA Games, the Southeast Asian Games. And then other countries were allowed to enter 2 in the men's, 2 in the women's and the mixed. So you've got a lot of teams that aren't in the Regu. Most notably Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia. So Japan in particular, Singapore, India, all being incredibly keen to step up. This is a chance for them to get gold. Now, challenge has been lodged by the Singapore team. They reckon that this ball missed the line. It was called in. They reckon it missed the line. Zahirman keeping loose. Limbs like pipe cleaners as the New Zealand team gives us a wave. 20 different nations involved from such far-flung corners as New Zealand, USA and Brazil from the Americas, plenty of teams from Europe, Poland, Switzerland, Italy, France. All burgeoning Sepaktakraw nations, all invited here by the STFI that you can see top left of your screen, Sepaktakraw Federation of India, to take part in this ISTAF World Cup. The official calls the referees, the managers in, and they have to come in at exactly the same time. And the ball was in.
In. Point Singapore. Ready?
There we go. Japan watched it. It was called out, but it was actually in. So that makes it all of a sudden 5-all. So that's why you have challenges. It can really turn things around.
It is over.
Very much a 2-point swing.
Five, 6.
Having won a point of their own service, now Japan move ahead to a 2-point lead.
Ready?
A very well executed roll spike.
7, 5. Point Singapore. It's over. Ready? Six, 7.
Singapore not going anywhere, keeping pace. They need to save set spike here and equalise. Oh, how about that? Ichikawa from halfway back. He was in the mid-court. It was nicely done originally by Zahirman, who ended up improvising and doing a sunback spike, just flicking the ball over his left shoulder with his left foot. But there, Ichikawa from mid-court got up high, took the ball at the highest point and put it away.
Sasamoto has kept it in play somehow. He's back at it.
That was always going to be a case of who would calm down and take the 3 touches. Both teams headed the ball over on the first touch, thinking, I'm just going to end the point here and now. But it wasn't the right thing to do, and in the end it was Singapore who said, right, let cooler heads prevail, and let's take time, let's set it up, and that's what Akmal Musharraf did, and then put it on a sixpence for Zahirman. Because when you do the basics right, as you saw there, the tekong saving and setting and putting it up there for the striker, then that's the way you win points. Take your 3 touches, set up, put the ball in the right place.
7.
As Terashima knows.
What a serve. Sasamoto.
Timeout, Singapore.
And there's going to be a timeout.
Serve. Players in court.
Japan leading 10-7. Singapore have to think about how they're going to bounce back here in the first set. This is the men's semi-final of the Regu event at the ISTAF Sepaktakraw World Cup 2025. Danish Irfan has generally been good with his serves throughout the tournament.
He's regular on serving Danish Irfan, or he has been today. The problem is he keeps putting it on the foot of his opposite number. He just puts it right down there to Sasamoto's favoured right foot. And Sasamoto saves, sets, and then puts it up forward for his striker to spike.
Ichikawa on the net this time. This has been a complete team performance by Japan so far. Each member of the unit has contributed. The Singaporean captain has just walked off the park.
Good opportunity to have a look at the shoes. You can see that they're quite flat, well, very flat on the sole. You don't want the ball bouncing off at an awkward angle. So totally flat soles. There's a bit of cushioning in there. Made of canvas and rubber soles. Tend to be made in Thailand. That's one of the homes of Sepaktakraw.
7. Wow.
That's what you do when you're close to the net. You don't think, I'm going to head it over. You go, right, take your time, set it up. It's awkward to set up when you're that close to the net, because it has to go straight up. You don't want to put it over the net, into the net, too far back. That was beautifully done by Akmal Musharraf. What a service to get everything off it.
Masaki Sasamoto has been on point with all his services. Takeshi Tarashima also enjoyed that behind the line. 2 points away from taking the first set, Japan. Make that 1 point away. Japan now have got 6 set points against Singapore.
Game point 14-8.
Powered by brilliance, and Japan have taken the first set 15-8. Takeshi Terashima is a happy man. He knows that if Japan replicate this performance in the second set, they'll be through to the final of the men's event in the Regu. That was the winning moment.
It's probably the best point of the entire set there, going this way and that. Singapore desperately trying to keep it alive. Japanese wanting to get over the line, and they have indeed got over the line, taking the first set 15-8.
जापान ने पहला सेट अपने नाम कर लिया है सिंगापुर के सामने, और अगर आपने वो पहला सेट देखा होगा तो आपको नजर आया होगा कि जापान ने क्या बेहतरीन प्रदर्शन किया था। खास करके जो आखिरी पॉइंट था वहां पर दोनों टीमों ने इतना एक दूसरे के साथ ऐसा फाइट कर लिया, सबको पता था कि यहाँ पर ये मुकाबला कितना अहम है। जो भी जीतेंगे वो जाएंगे फाइनल में। और यहाँ सिंगापुर ने अभी शुरुआत के लिए तैयारी कर ली है और बदलाव भी कर लिया है, क्योंकि जहीर रहमान बाहर जा चुके हैं और उनके बदले आए हैं यूरी आदली फतुल्ला। And as soon as he comes, Yuri Adli is in business with a block that helps them win the first point in the second set.
1. Point Singapore. It's over.
So it wasn't particularly the net presence, the striking that was the difference between the teams in the first set. For me, it was the Tekongs. Danish Irfan not able to respond to the darts being sent down by Sasamoto and not really asking that many questions of his own on his own delivery.
Ready? 1, 2. Point Singapore.
The change in the striker has worked well for Singapore so far. It's very early in the second set, but Yuri Adli in the scheme of things, and he has already delivered 2 points for his team.
3, 1.
That's correct, right? Yuri Adli or Fatullah. Yuri Adli.
Point Japan.
Reminder that we're at the semi-final stage here, so loser gets a bronze medal. There's no third and fourth place playoff. The two semi-final losers get a bronze medal. It means there's a big podium with squads of 5, but the winners make it through to the final to be played later in the afternoon.
Ready? 4, 2. Point Japan.
Excellent roll spike.
Service over.
Ichikawa not deviating from the straight, just goes straight up, straight down.
3, 4. Point Singapore.
Miscues that attempted slower one. That's gone on to the net. Singapore currently leading by 2 points. Just finding their mojo just a touch. But they've got a lot more work to do to take the second set.
Well, he had to go a long way back there, Ichikawa, almost by the Tekong circle, but he took the ball high. See how high he takes the ball. That's the main thing. If you can take it high, you've still got time to direct the ball downwards.
5.
Singapore giving as good as they're getting, though. And the change at the net has actually sparked them.
Ready? 6-4.
That attempted block just went out of play. Yuri Adli again.
It's close though, he won't be too disheartened. Got the leg out and it just drifted long. But the effort was there. If you're doing the right thing and you're not winning every point, you don't mind as long as you still take your opportunities when they come to put away a good spike, and then if a block doesn't quite come off but it's close, you won't be too disheartened, particularly when you've got your nose in front on the scoreboard.
Seven, 5.
And they extend that lead. Japan not able to keep the ball on their side of the net. Bounced over, and Singapore doing the right things. 1, 2, 3. Save, set, spike.
5, 8.
It's going Singapore's way so far. In the second set, they just seem to have found that momentum that was much needed to help revive them and get them back in this match. And with this 4-point lead, they would now want to power ahead and take the second set, as Japan have rightfully called for the timeout. A few questions to answer for Japan in this second set, as Singapore just trying to script that resurgence in this men's semi-final. It's a Regu event game. 9-5, Singapore leading in the second set, having dropped the first one.
9-5. Point Japan. Service over.
Always feels better to win the first point after a timeout when you've taken it.
6, 9.
Often use them to reset, get back to basics. It reinforces that you've done the right thing.
That's 2 now. A very good start post the timeout.
See what's going on either side of the net.
Ready?
Do like those split screens.
Point Japan.
A hat-trick of points.
Ready?
Danish Irfan finding the net. It's funny a lot of times how the timeout can create an impact on the flow of play.
8, 9.
Fantastic points. That's as good as you're going to see all day.
Ready?
And we're going to have a challenge at the net. Well, it went over the net 7 or 8 times. I'm not sure which one they're challenging, but I think it's going to be the ultimate block by Yuri Adli. I was going to say at one point, neither team seems to want to win this. The spikes weren't quite as crisp as they needed to be, but neither team wanted to lose it, more importantly. Crucial point, if it had gone the way of Japan and they had their opportunities to put it away, 9-all, 4 points in a row. If Singapore have indeed won this one, and it was called in their favour originally, then they've stopped the rot, and they've got themselves to within 5 points of taking us to a decider. Plenty of fans in here for the final day of the ISTAF Sepaktakraw World Cup 2025 in Bihar province in the northeast of India. So the managers have been called in. There they are. Terashima on the right, on the left Hishan bin Adam.
It's going to go Singapore's way. Could just see the Singaporean manager indicate to his team that they're fine. And the referee has also confirmed it's not over.
Not over, meaning the foot wasn't over. Well,
10.
good grief, it was nowhere near over. So that was why the review was reasonably quick. So could have been 9-all. It's actually 10-8. Huge in the context of this match. Japan get a point back straight away as they needed to, but they're still behind. They thought they were level. They need to win another one just to get level. Not that they're looking too concerned about it though.
Ready?
Ichikawa fired up though.
10. Singapore.
He smashed that into the net, and that allows Singapore to maintain that 2-point lead as they're into double figures. 11-9 to Singapore, 4 points away from leveling terms in this semi-final.
9.
I think Ichikawa could have left that and let it go out, but it would have been a gutsy call, and he decided that he could save it, allow his captain to set it, and then put it away himself. Always the wiser course of action.
10. 11.
You certainly feel foolish if you think this is going out, you leave it and it lands in.
Singapore.
Wonderful save and set at the net by Akmal Musharraf. Kept the ball alive calmly and put it exactly where his spiker wanted it.
Good. 10.
Ichikawa helps win that point again for Japan. But now this is very important. Japan have to convert the next one. It is of their own service. And if they level that, then it would be Singapore who's going to serve with scores level.
It's a real shame because it came right back at them, but just in the wrong position. The Tekong's momentum, Sasamoto had taken him right forward, and then he was scrambling back. He also slipped over because he threw everything into it. He touches his hand there, so he can't carry on. See the frustration on the face of coach Takeshi Terashima.
11.
We're a point away from the deciding set. Singapore have fought back very well. They now have 3 set points.
Ready? 11. Game point 14.
Into the net, and even Stevens here in the semi-final between Japan and Singapore. It's 1-1, and we are now getting ready for the third set. It's Japan 1, Singapore 1. The first set went 15-8 to Japan, and Singapore shot back with 15-11. Here's the scoreline for you.
Second set, Singapore win 15-11. 2 minutes less.
This semi-final is turning out to be a very interesting one because we are going to a third set. It's 1-1, even Stevens, Japan and Singapore. They know that a place in the final is at stake, a silver medal or a gold medal. Up for grabs if they move through. Japan have already won a bronze medal, and that was by their women's team in the doubles event. Sasamoto will begin the deciding set.
Lots at stake, and both teams realise that. No Thailand, no Malaysia, no Indonesia in the men's Regu, and you think, well, it's now or never. If we're going to win a gold, then this is the opportunity we really need to grasp the nettle.
It's over.
Particularly in the second set, Singapore impressed me at the net. And that's after they'd made a change. Yuri Adli coming on for Zahir Rahman.
1-all.
Overall, for me, Japan have the advantage in the Tekong position with this man here. Because he can do things like that, and he's also the marginally better defender. So Japan, for me, better at serving, defending. Singapore, better at finishing the points off. Defence wins championships. Singapore will be hoping to prove me wrong.
On both sides, they didn't want to give up, and ultimately Japan just holding on. Kotsi Ichikawa.
Defence wins championships. You can see the pair of teams out there desperate to defend, keeping the ball alive. How they got their shoes underneath the ball so many times, digging in there, as if the court seemed to get lower and lower.
There's a challenge.
Slight break in proceedings. I can't see a challenge sign.
Ichikawa has just gone off the field. He's holding on to his quad. Seems to have done something. He was limping after that spike that he put in.
Making sure his knee's in the right position. Might want to swap the knee brace, the little sleeve he's got on his right knee, stick it over on the left one. You can see that he's been sliding around. Here's the full point again. Look at that. Could have gone right on service. Another great save. Kept alive nicely. Desperation stuff. 7 in that exchange. The ball went over the net 7 times. And it was Ichikawa keeping it alive. Probably 2 or 3 times for Japan.
He's back on the park now, and Japan are ready. Ichikawa will be the feeder for his Tekong.
1.
Yuri Adli puts that far out. And that's why Japan's lead grows. 3 points between them and Singapore early in the third set.
Previous point before the short medical break. You think, well, both teams deserve a point out of that one. But only one team could get it. It was Japan. And it knocks the stuffing out of you when you lose a point like that. Particularly when you're behind on the scoreboard. It made it 3-1. You lose another one. And it can take the wind out of your sails. Shame that the referee's chair was in the way there. I think Yuri Adli would have had a go at that one.
Time out, Singapore.
Singapore have taken the timeout as they are down 5-1. That was excellent.
Okay. Okay.
Singapore know that now they have to arrest the slide, because ever since the third set started, it's been Japan all the way. 5-1. There have been a few competitive rallies, one of them in particular, which ultimately went Japan's way. But now it's time for Singapore to replicate what they did in the second set.
Ready?
There's no shortage of motivation on either side.
5.
They know how important this semi-final is.
Fine, Singapore.
Trying to make a big start there, Japan, but just finding the net.
Ready? Two, 5.
With that spike, roll spike in fact, Japan
Service over.
have got their 6th point.
Ready?
4 points clear of Singapore.
Came out of the timeout and committed a fault on service, which can happen because you lose your rhythm a little bit. And also, you're made to think about things. You think, well, I'm about to serve, I've got a minute to think about it.
Fine.
Or the other way
Singapore.
round, you're about to serve and you're not prepared because you go back, talk to your coach for a minute, come back out and go, oh blimey, I've got to serve again. And it's not just the tekong, it's the feeder as well.
Three, 6. Fine, Japan.
This has been some effort by Ichikawa. And the smile gets wider for Mr. Takeshi, just behind the advertising board.
It's over.
Well, if Japan get
Ready?
through, how big would it be for Japanese Sepaktakraw, especially for someone like Mr. Takeshi, who's been around for a long time?
It'll be as good as they've ever managed.
3.
They've not particularly stood out in the men's Regu in the past.
Fine, Japan.
Desperate stuff from Singapore. They did everything, but the ball was way past the baseline into the free zone. And although Danish Irfan tried his level best, he possibly had a chance in a 1 in a million. But now the teams change sides as Japan have touched their 8th point.
Ready, player.
8-3, you change ends in the final set just to make sure that both teams play from either end. They'd already swapped after the first
Ready,
set.
Singapore.
So Japan, yes, they've
Singapore serve.
not picked up a medal in men's Regu in the past at a World Cup. Got the occasional bronze medal at ISTAF events. One that I can think of, 2 at a push
Ready?
if I were to get the record books out, but not a great deal of success. Problem for them is they've always been in the top division, so they haven't been able to make hay
Fine,
in
Japan.
Division 1, for example, where 2022 USA defeated Iran in the final. Bangladesh and Germany were the semi-finalists, and then 2024 Iran getting the better of Chinese Taipei, Bangladesh again, and Nepal getting the medals. So that was Division 1, but if you're in the top division, you're playing the top teams all the time.
In. Fine.
At the moment, it's all going Japan's way.
Challenge, line.
Challenge. That went long. So Singapore, well, it looks like Japan are challenging.
Yeah.
Points already gone Japan's way on the scoreboard.
I think what they feel is it may have touched. I believe they are just checking or it may have been given the other way, and they must be checking with regards to the contact with the foot. Is Ichikawa on that side, just trying to stop it with his outstretched left leg. Japan jumping around, just keeping themselves warm for the challenge that lies ahead. As things stand with the scoreboard, 6 points to book their tickets for the final. There's the Japanese women's team. We saw them in the women's quadrant as well as the women's doubles. In the women's doubles, they won the bronze medal, came incredibly close to winning the semi-final. The referee still deliberating, and at any moment they'll be inviting the team managers or coaches to approach the bench. Would also like to thank the crowd for all their support across the last 6 days. Today has been the best day in terms of the environment. There's a lot of noise. They've got those cheering sticks as well. It's added to the atmosphere here at the Patlipurna Sports Complex in Patna. People of all ages, different professions, taking interest in the game of Sepaktakraw.
Who's going to smile first? Who's going to smile more?
Well, the ball's called in. And that point will be reversed and it'll go to Singapore.
Ten.
Landed on the line.
Ready? Time out.
And with that, Japan have called for the timeout just as they lost that referral.
Hands up, players in court. Ready? Four, 9.
That lead now strengthens to 6 points. That lead now strengthens to 6 points.
Ready? 10, 4. Point Singapore.
Yuri Adli gets that spike in.
It's over.
Another point for Singapore. An attempted block by the Japanese player onto the net. A bit of tension in the Singapore camp because they know that Japan are way ahead.
Well, it doesn't take a miracle, it just takes 1 point at a time. They've got 2 of 3 since the timeout. Take a look at the bench. Zahirman taken off during the first set, and Yuri Adli has looked far stronger than him at the net.
There's a couple of them for Singapore. It's just the way that Japan were playing. Looked like they are going to storm through.
7-10.
Still have a good lead of 3 points. Into the net. With the slow serve, the entire rally didn't quite have that pace. And the setup was also deep inside the court. So it was even more difficult for Japan to get that spike through.
8. Singapore.
Did that one clip the line?
Yes, just on the line. 1 point adrift.
9-10.
This point will really help Japan because for some time it looked like Singapore were picking that momentum.
Ready? Number 5. Number 5.
A change for Japan.
Wow, how about this? Changing your take on with 4 points to go.
Hirokazu Kobayashi is now on the park.
What a call this is. In you come, get us the last 4 points, no pressure. I would say that the man he's replaced, Sasamoto, had been looking a bit tired. The problem is he's got to come in and defend. It's not just getting the ball over, he needs to defend. And I'm not sure I'm overly keen on this decision. Takeshi Terashima knows better than I do. But you can see there that the women's team aren't convinced by the decision either. Now, if we get to 14 all, then we'll go first to 17.
Danish put in everything and Japan let that go through. They get that point as the ball has gone wide.
Well left. Very well judged by Ichikawa.
10.
Okay, this is what you've been brought on for.
Japan.
Well, I'm amazed by this. Kobayashi comes on and he's serving lollipops, really. They're just lobbing over the net, and it's up to the other two to put the hard work in, and it really is Ichikawa standing up to be counted.
Singapore have opted for a challenge. They're challenging that net call, I think.
Yes, we can't see the board, but it will be challenge net. Yes, there it is. So did Ichikawa go over the net. Last throw of the dice, really, for Hisham bin Adam, the manager, and Saleh Nanang, the coach. Might as well challenge it. They got from 8-4 down to 10-9. And then all of a sudden 13-10. Takeshi Terashima in the background in the green, having made the very, very interesting call. I'm going to call it to change Taekongs with 4 points needed. Now, the managers have been called up. Now, they have to come in at exactly the same time. All about the formality. Takeshi Terashima going, yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, see, no problem. Yes, he says, a pump of the fists. Boy, did they need that. Ichikawa doing everything. The one on the left there with the headband. Not over, but it might be over for Singapore. Worth a challenge. Worth a challenge. You're that close. Would have made it 12-11. Danish Irfan now with all the pressure on his shoulders and on his right foot. That's why you don't bring in a Taekong with 4 points to go, because his defense might not be great, and he clearly isn't the best of setters. They could make one more substitution. They could bring Sasamoto back in.
This time he tried to fire that one and got it off the tape, but that's gone out.
Women's squad living and dying with every point here. It's out and we're level. The set was half decent, but it asked a little bit too much of Ichikawa. If we get to 14 all, it's first to 17. Japan with all the time in the world, I was going to say, to save set and spike, but it goes out.
Match point. They know the importance of this, but now it's going to be it's going to be Singapore to serve. A grimace in the Singapore dugout. Smiles at the other end. Is this the final point?
I don't think they're smiling. I think they're on the edge of their seats.
A bullet train has rolled into the final. The next stop is the final for Japan. They've overcome Singapore. A stiff challenge before them. A three-setter to remember.
Probably the match of the tournament so far, or definitely in the Regu. We had some great matches in the quadrants, particularly in the men's. Japan left it all out there. They're going to be exhausted by the time the final comes round, but they're in there. They're in there with a chance. And it was that man, Ichikawa, who got them over the line.
Takeshi Terashima there, the veteran of Japanese Sepaktakraw, leading his team into the final as the coach. Japan 2, Singapore 1 in a memorable semi-final at the Regu event at the ISTAF Sepaktakraw World Cup 2025. As the scoreline suggests, 15-8, 15-11 and then 15-13. They are greeted by the crowds who have stayed, as the next match is between India and Iran. It's the second semi-final for a place in the final.